Here. Mr. Myers?
Here.
Dr. Crooks? Here. Mr. Birchfield?
Here. Okay, that moves us to approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda as presented? So moved. Moved by Mr. Stahl, supported by Ms. Reed. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any nays? Passes 6-0. Dr. Gray, Shining Star.
We have a couple tonight. First, we'll talk about certified staff achieving tenure, so congratulations to them. We have Erica Mackin. Jacqueline Burr, Jesse Christner, Anthony Greathouse, Jeffrey Hazen, Andrea Lundy, Christopher Sandberg, Alexis Kosman, Christopher Elsey, Whitney Fox, Janelle Vermiglio, Cody Alexander, Courtney Lauer, Jody Diakonis, Mary Ann Johnson, Genevieve Sobolewski, and Rebecca Buckus. So congratulations. Shining Star tonight is for Brighton High School, the DECA program, International Career Development Conference that they went to in Orlando, Florida. Our competitors, Allie Bergeron, Gold Medal Merit Award status, Shannon McLaren for Apparel and Accessories Series, Jack Cataldo, based on School-Based Enterprise Retail, Bobby Gardella, School-Based Enterprise Retail, Nick Martin, School-Based Enterprise Retail, and our advisors who did a great job with these young people, Michelle Costa and Tanya Clark. The boys were a team of SBE Retail. They earned top 20 in the nation. The girls did not move on to the final round of competition, but still impressive that they represented Michigan at the international competition. So congratulations to those students and teachers.
So that moves us into our call to the public for this evening. Anyone who wishes to address the board, please step to the podium, state your name, address, and we request that you limit public comment, individual public comment to 3 minutes. Yeah, actually, thank you. So before we do that, I'm going to ask that Nancy Mullet from Clark Hill make a statement.
Thank you. I just want to, I've been told that there might be a fair amount of public comment on a specific item on the agenda, and I just want to remind the educators that the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act precludes disclosure of any personally identifiable information of a student, and just so we're clear on the definition, that is any information. It's not just a name or initial. It's any information that's linked or linkable to a specific student or set of students that anybody in the community, the school community, would recognize who those students were based on the comments. So just be mindful of the information that you provide. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Matthew Fun. I'm a teacher at Brighton High School. I'm outgoing president of the Brighton Education Association. Brighton teachers share the board's commitment to a high-quality education in a nurturing, positive setting where everyone is welcome and safe. We know that great things are happening every day in every school in this district. With your support, we're impacting lives. We teach your children to read, to write, think. We build relationships that can last for lifetimes. And because we're a public school, we welcome all students with open arms. We believe that everyone belongs. This evening, we're here in particular to advocate for Hawkins students. We're not here to point fingers, vilify, or to blame. We're not here to complain. We're here in search of solutions. We're here to reach out to the board for your help. We're here because we know we can do better for Hawkins students, families, and teachers. We've worked with administration for years in an effort to make Hawkins the school that we know it can be. But tonight we feel that we must sound an alarm to the board. Hawkins is in trouble. I ask the board to open your hearts as well as your minds tonight, because we're not lawyers. Hawkins needs our help. Many of the people you see in this room are here tonight because they share my deep concern for Hawkins. And if I could, I'd like to ask those people to stand for just a moment at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christina Wood. I live at 5989 Nottingham Point. I've been a Brighton girl my whole life. From kindergarten to high school, where I met my husband in my 10th grade health class, this town has always been part of who I am. Fast forward 21 years later, and my husband and I now live in Brighton ourselves, raising our 3 children. We are actively involved in numerous youth sports, including coaching and volunteer board positions. I am also entering my 15th year of teaching in Brighton next fall. I have taught at Limbaum, Spencer, and Hawkins over those years, and have been blessed to have known and worked with so many amazing teachers and families, some of which sit in this very room right now. When our oldest son began kindergarten, we actually resided in the Heartland School District. However, when one of my children needed an IEP, my husband and I made the decision to move back to Brighton. I knew that the services, support, and curriculum he would receive here were far and above the best. I also made the decision to bring our children to Hawkins with me, despite the fact that we live in another school's boundary. This is because I work with these amazing teachers every day, and I know how excellent they are. I have watched my children grow and flourish under their guidance. My son, who struggles, would not be where he is today without such amazing teachers, including his speech and resource teachers, our literacy coach and EAs, our specials teachers, and so many more. That is why this is so hard. I believe in our school and all of the amazing things happening. But when my daughter comes home and says she was almost hit by a large metal chair that a student threw down the hallway, while adults stood by and said nothing, or my son comes home and said he had to play Army and hide underneath the table in his class because a child was throwing furniture around the room, we have to say enough. These behaviors cannot continue to go unrecognized and unaddressed. Our teachers and students deserve more. That is also why, after 10 years of teaching at Hawkins, today I put in my request to transfer to another school. And will be taking our children with me, leaving behind so many friends and families that are near and dear to us. I know what education and feeling safe and supported looks like for all students and for all educators. I know we can do better than this.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Krista Sins. I'm a teacher at Hawkins Elementary School. Our road here tonight has been a long and complex one. To come and speak in front of the school board has not been an easy decision for anyone. All of us in our Hawkins family have been working together and hoping that perhaps our suggested solutions and proactive initiatives would be heard and collaboratively pursued. In fact, we continue to hope that we continue to hope that there is still the opportunity for productive discourse between those who make decisions for our school and our Hawkins community. But unfortunately, we have been here before, and we've been promised supports that were not provided. This time last year, we were promised a full-time counselor to support all of our learners. and we were promised an additional full-time classroom teacher for our behavioral support classroom. Jump ahead to the present day, and we have an additional full-time parapro in our behavioral support classroom, and our half-time counselor was pulled from our school to support a different elementary and the district for the majority of the year. Not only were the agreements not followed through upon, but Hawkins was left without the support it so desperately needed. So now our teachers are here before you, asking for help once again.
Thank you.
I'm Brenda Hurley, and I'm also a teacher at Hawkins Elementary School. A person once said, "Everyone who remembers his own education remembers teachers, not methods and techniques." The teacher is the heart of the educational system. So we stand here before you as teachers, telling you that we cannot continue to educate and reach our students, continue to prepare and guide these young, impressionable minds without help. Do student behaviors exist? Of course. They happen in every school, every day, across the country. But how we deal with them is different. Clear, high expectations and consistency are key. All children have the right to a safe and equal education. Evacuating classrooms, watching children climb atop furniture, witnessing daily verbal and physical insults hurled at staff members and students, will adults stand by and intentionally ignore it, is not acceptable.
Thank you.
I am Alexis Hossman. I'm also a teacher at Hawkins. Our students at Hawkins have learned tolerance and patience. They are accepting of others and have learned about what it takes to be a leader. But at what point do we begin to wonder if they've created tolerance for indifference? A parent witnesses a screaming student in the school lasting for 15 minutes or more and comments in amazement about how the children in the nearby classrooms just continue on with their work. Some would say how wonderful it is that they simply go on with their day. But when do we stop ourselves and ask, why are the children witnesses to this day in and day out? What about the child who cannot focus, who is easily distracted by what is going on around them? How are they going to learn in this type of environment? What about the child who is screaming? How does it feel for them when all of their peers have seen and heard these things many times when it was beyond this child's control? Where is the preservation of that child's dignity? When children hear screaming or encounter an emergency outside of the school walls, will they even be able to recognize it? Or have they just been desensitized to a point where they don't know that something is actually wrong? We have other options for all of the students involved. Our status quo is not working, and we need real solutions and real action.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Heidi Newman, and I've been a teacher at Hawkins for a long, long time. Some people like to quote the law when talking about student behaviors. The laws have changed. Certain things are no longer legal or require many hoops to jump through. However, if you read the state law, there is nothing that says that a teacher, staff member, or student has to condone being kicked, punched, or spit on. We don't have to have objects thrown at us. Breaking furniture is not an acceptable means of student communicating frustration. We are all entitled to basic levels of human respect. Hawkins has long had a reputation as a school with special education programs. We pride ourselves on how hard we work to support and include all students in our classroom, regardless of level or ability. However, we have many students with needs that are not being addressed. There are children who are not accessing the available programs with no clear explanation as to why, despite the documented history of these students' challenges. We are often reminded that we have the most resources and the largest staff to support our students. So why are the teachers in our building constantly having to work so hard, oftentimes unsuccessfully, to get help for the students in their classes? Shouldn't we all be on board with providing children with what they need in terms of their education? Why do these decisions lie in the hands of a few with little or no teacher input? We are educators because we want to make a difference and because we do care. We're here to teach and to learn. No one should ever feel unsafe or threatened for fear of losing their job or for fear of retaliation by another student. This is not education. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Anna Wells. I'm the media specialist at Hawkins.
Our grievance is not about a lack of training for teachers and staff. It is about a lack of support and follow-through. What we are asking for as a building is not unrealistic or out of the realm of possibility. In fact, most of our suggestions are basic fundamentals of education that should be happening regardless of where you teach. I have been an educator in the district for 21 years. I was a Brighton High School teacher for 19 years and have been working as the media specialist at Hawkins for the last 2. What I'm able to speak to tonight is my concern for my colleagues at Maltby, Scranton, and at the high school. If the foundation of appropriate behavior is not established at an elementary level, my colleagues will be receiving students who do not know how to behave appropriately, who speak in a disrespectful manner to staff and peers, who monopolize the classroom teacher's time and energy, leaving less for students who are ready and eager to learn. When extreme behaviors exist, there is a need to support those children and their families as well. We want all students to be successful. This requires a team effort, not behavior plans that are unrealistic in a classroom of almost 30 students. We need to be impactful with our actions in a productive, meaningful way.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Lisa Wheeler. I reside at 1104 Spencer Road. I'm a Brighton area schools kindergarten teacher for 32 years. Our district has consistently provided professional development around new academic programming. But I stand here tonight not only as a kindergarten teacher, but to ask all of you, where is the focus on social emotional development? Hawkins has viewed social and emotional growth as a priority and something that should be put at the forefront of our curriculum. We are asking this district to recognize the importance of these types of trainings, the importance of teaching students how to build positive relationships, problem solve, interact with one another on a personal level, ask questions, develop the whole child as learners and deep thinkers are just as important, if not equally important, as the academic piece that we teach daily. Therefore, we stand before you now to ask that professional development centered around the social emotional growth and development of children is not optional, but it is essential.
Thank you.
My name is Rachel Bilka. I'm a teacher at Hawkins Elementary. At Hawkins, we currently house all of the self-contained and self-contained special education programs at the elementary level for Brighton area schools. We also have the highest number of students receiving free and reduced lunch in our building, indicating a clear discrepancy in the socioeconomic dynamics between our school and the other elementaries in Brighton. And yet, we also have some of the highest MSTEP scores in 3rd and 4th grade across the district and in all of Livingston County. What this says about our teachers and our students sends a very powerful message. While the needs of Hawkins are great, we continue to persevere and to make a difference. Our students are learning and they're thriving. So when a teacher in our building says that a child needs help or that things are not going well in their classroom, they do not say it lightly. We are professionals. We are educators. To stand here at this meeting and speak about this is not easy, and it's not desirable for any of us. We are here for our students, and we are here for our school because we care about what is happening, and we cannot provide a solution on our own.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie Tobias. I teach 2nd grade at Hawkins Elementary. You've been told that Hawkins has always had these types of building issues. For those teachers who have been here long enough, we can stand here and tell you that those statements are not true. It has not always been like this at Hawkins. The past 3 to 5 years have brought a great deal of change in terms of special education on a state level, a district level, and a building level. And we are asking our district to recognize the significance of these changes and to be proactive instead of reactive in terms of appropriate help and staff. We are asking for our district to acknowledge that our school does not, in fact, look exactly like all the other elementary schools in Brighton, as they so often claim. As teachers, we celebrate these differences. Every school is unique. We have unique needs at Hawkins. These unique and specific needs are not being met. We are asking for your collaborative support in creating innovative solutions. Thank you.
I'm Diane Tamlin, and I've been a teacher here for a long time, since 1986, and happily so. And I look forward to these last years as I ride out, into the sunset, with great hope. And I think when I listen to my colleagues and my principal and the leaders at the district level, I know that we are here for the right reasons. And of course, I've carried my book. I always, have some sort of quote that I like to sort of lift up, and this is Parker Palmer, The Courage to Teach. And he talks a little bit about, going after the great things in life, and education being one of them. And when you do that, it's complex, and it's worth the chaos and worth the effort to go after the really hard things, because they make a difference in people's lives. And so as we are trying to work through the really hard, down in the weeds, the mud of these social and emotional problems, I think what we're asking for, again and again, always, now and forever, is to come to the table together and to communicate well and to listen well and to be in it for all of the right reasons, which I think we're there, but we need to hash it out. This is professional debate. This is not personal, but we get to get in there and really work at it. And so I think what I hear my colleagues saying is that we want to go to work on this. We want to make it better, and we have an opportunity here. So I'm here to say I'm willing and able to sit down at any table, anywhere, anytime, and go after this thing, because it's worth it.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Molly Rosso. I live at 2105 Rolling Rock Drive. I'm a parent of 2 students at Hawkins. I have 3 kids, one will soon be there. I actually asked my sister, I'm school of choice, so I asked my sister back in 2015, what's the school to go to? And it was Hawkins. Before I knew it, my oldest was being evacuated. I was getting sent emails that she was safe. I don't care how many times you write the word safe in an email, but when my student doesn't feel safe and her teacher is out for weeks because she was injured by a student, that is not right. They think this is normal now in their everyday life. In my junior kindergarten, he doesn't know how to act. And he was mimicking kids. And as of next year, we will no longer be Brighton School District. And we will be moving away from that, from my family, because we were ignored. We reached out to the administration, and it was swept under the rug that my children were going to be safe. And I felt like I couldn't come out and say anything and defend them for fear of how they would be treated in school. Because the bullies start at the top. And I feel for every one of their teachers and all the teachers I see. And I hope more parents come and support you, because it is not fair to our students. I feel bad for the teachers that they have to go to next year. There's a lot of undoing that they have to do for my children. My son struggles. He has no issues. There's no behavior issues. He doesn't have IEPs or anything. But again, brush under the rug because there's not enough resources to focus on him. There's 3 adults in his junior classroom. 3 adults to 21 students, and they still have no control over their classroom. I feel for these teachers, and I feel for the students, and the reason I'm here, even though I won't be in the district next year, is to help those that are still going to be there and have to be there and don't have the choice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mindy Bashaw, 8785 Strobus Court. That was my sister, who I promised Hawkins would be the best school for her to go to. My children also will no longer be at Hawkins next year. We are pulling them. My last 2 of my 5 are there, and I can guarantee you when my first one went there, when my second one went there, and when my third one went there, it was nothing like it is today. And what is happening is criminal. And I will also say this. Up until last Wednesday, I was starting to think I was crazy, that I was the one who had the problem, because I've been made to feel that way. I've been made to feel that way by the principal, I've been made that way to feel by the administration, and I've been made that way to feel by each of you up there who have responded to my emails with a blanket statement. You were elected to keep these students safe. My first email about how unsafe the school was came November 1st in 2017. I sent another email in October of this year, and I detailed very specifically what was wrong at the school. Then I came here after not hearing anything from that email, and I spoke to you in December, and I told you that the #1 issue was student safety. The #2 issue was student proficiency. The #3 issue was student attrition, or staff attrition, but we can add student attrition to that now as well. #4 was honesty from the current building administration. And #5 was the Leader in Me program, which is a behavior modification program that is incredibly expensive and completely ineffective. I was very angry after I read that packet to find out that I was treated by everybody that can make a difference in this room that isn't a teacher, like I was the crazy one. And at the same time that I'm reaching out to all of you, the teachers were on the other side doing the same thing. And if they were treated anyway like I was, it's criminal what's happening. And I will say it again. If we don't change something quick, somebody is going to die. It may be a teacher, it may be a student, but somebody will be hurt at that school beyond what we can fix with a quick email or some student protection something or another that none of the parents can know. I guarantee you if more parents knew about this, they would be here beating your door down right now, but we do such a great job of locking the parents out of that building and out of every classroom because of privacy issues that we've forgotten about the regular kids that go there that have the equal right to an education as well as all the others. You have failed both general ed and special ed kids. My kids are going to be gone from Hawkins. They may be gone from the district. We haven't made our decision yet. But if I can't advocate for my kid as a Hawkins student through you guys, what makes me think I'm going to move them to any other schools and be able to advocate for them there? That is my tough decision on whether or not I stay with Brighton or we completely move out of the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that will close the call to the public and move us into the superintendent report. Dr. Gray, item A, student representative.
Yeah, we begin tonight with Brooke Warren in her last meeting as she graduates, not having to get up anymore. So, Brooke.
Yeah, I just wanted, before I get into what's going on, I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me. It's been an awesome learning opportunity. I love getting to serve with Dr. Gray. Love getting to see him at school every day, and it's been good, it's been fun. Brighton Area Schools has been one of my favorite places to grow up and to be. I've loved every second of school here. Personally, high school has been awesome for me. So many ways for me to get involved, so many ways for me to get plugged in. So I really appreciate our teachers and all those that have poured into me all these years. So thank you. If I've had one of you, thank you so much. I see a lot of you. Hi. Yes, so at the high school, seniors are now done. Our last day was Friday. So if you see any high schoolers out at lunch, don't yell at them for skipping school. Like they're done, they can be there. And commencement is next Saturday, June 8th. That was coming the next week. Senior Survivor Week is over. That was last week. I don't know how much we raised yet. You'll probably get an email from someone soon.
59.
How much?
59,000. And counting.
Yeah, we're not done.
59. That's amazing. Yeah, I just heard about that. So $59,000. That's a lot. So thank you to all the businesses, teachers, any of you guys that helped. That was an awesome week. Busy week, crazy week, but it was so fun, so awesome. And our seniors are done, but the rest of our kids are taking exams next week. We're wrapping up. Almost done. So thank you so much.
Brooke, thank you for serving on this board as a student rep. It takes a lot of time and evenings, so thank you very much. And we look forward to watching what you do in the future. We know you'll be very successful. So thank you. Our second piece tonight, Colleen and the bridge staff, if you guys would head on up. So about 3 years ago, 2016, I can't remember what year that was for you, Colleen. Was that 4 or 5 you've been there in 2016? Regardless.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
Yeah, I think it was 5. They were bestowed probably the biggest honor that an alternative high school can get in the state of Michigan, and that was Alternative High School of the Year Award presented by MAEO. And I don't think I've ever seen the same school within a 5-year period win it twice, but we're here tonight to present the 2019 Alternative High School of the Year Award. The Michigan Alternative Education Organization advocates quality alternative education for Michigan's youth, providing a network of support for alternative educators and students, and promoting awareness of alternative education at the local, state, and federal levels. Each year, the Michigan Alternative Education Organization, MAEO, recognizes one school for its excellence in servicing alternative students and their families. This year, and in 2016, MAEO chose the Brighton Alternative High School of the Year. So Colleen and your staff and the kids that come here every day that you get to work with, congratulations. It's an amazing honor, and to do it twice in 3 years is just incredible. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I'd first like to thank Dr. Greg Gray, Dr. Maria Gistinger, and our Superintendent of Curriculum, Liz Mosier, for all of your support. And thank you also to the board, especially Ken Stoll. Sorry, he's the favorite tonight. For all of your support. It's much appreciated. And it's not just what we do downstairs, it's all the support that we get from you. We certainly wouldn't be able to do it without all of your support. And it's a wonderful place to work. I love it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. We've had an extremely challenging year. I can relate. The cohesion of our staff, though, is fantastic, and has helped our students to pull through and finish strong. I asked for 3 letters of recommendation for the award, and Deb Fairchild, who worked with us last year, and I think would love to be banned, so whoever has that covered, said that the bridge staff, we just get kids. They understand what these students bring to the table every day in their challenging lives and what they need to do to help them light their own fire for learning. And that is what I see each and every day, a staff that gets kids and comes together on a daily basis to ensure that each one succeeds. I'd like to thank each staff member individually. So when I say your name, step forward or raise your hand or something. I know we're kind of crowded in here. I'd first like to thank Pam Kilpatrick. Many of you probably know Pam. She's our office manager, and I'd like to thank you so much for providing our students a shoulder to cry on and an encouraging word. Thank you to Jennifer Decker, our counselor, for your constant calm and level head, even in the most precarious situations. Thank you to Haley Latola, our newest member. She's our student success counselor. And thank you so much for the serenity and wisdom at such a young age that you bring to your practice. Thank you, Julianne Carsney, our online coordinator, and PLCW. Thank you so much for giving our students every chance to succeed. Thank you to Chris Devlin, our math teacher. For your insight and for helping me to keep looking forward. Thank you, Paul Shanks, our social studies teacher. Thank you, Paul, for your never-ending sense of humor. And your stellar organizational skills. Thank you, Jacob Hewitt, our art teacher. For the compassion and care you have for each and every student. Thank you, Elise McKenna. Science and Project Equity teacher, for your endless hard work. My goodness, it's like the Energizer Bunny. And what you do to go above and beyond. Thank you, Carly Evans, our English teacher. For being there when I'm not, and the magical connection you make with our students. Thank you, Erica Mackin. One of 2 teacher consultants for 80 students, so that says a lot. For the passion that you bring to teaching and the passion you have for the at-risk student. Thank you, Ellen Robertson, our other teacher. For your hugs. And how you inspire staff and students alike, and me, to do our very best. And she never loses sight of our vision for our kiddos. So thank you so much for listening, and I love you guys.
Love you too.
Congratulations to the Bridge staff. Great job, as always. Our next under superintendent report is the curriculum update. And I think it's Mulder.
I'm going to welcome Basha Keeler up, who has been working with our art department, and they are here to present and talk a little bit about the work that they've been doing and talk about the programming we offer. And I will turn it over to Basha. She introduces our group.
Good evening. My name is Basha Keeler, and I'm a Hawkins Elementary principal. I am here today because I've had the pleasure of working with all of our very dedicated art teachers in our district for the past 3 years. We have collaborated together and aligned visual arts K-12 curriculum standards for Brighton area schools. Today, our art teachers would like to present their learning with you and also share the learning and process that our students experience at Brighton area schools. I want to thank them sincerely for their hard work, dedication, and collaboration over the last 3 years.
Great, good evening. We would like to begin tonight's visual arts presentation by inviting you to interact with us with this particular piece of art. What do you say? Yeah, very good. All right. So I'm going to ask you to take a moment, and it was up here for a while, so I don't know if any of you saw it before. take a moment to see what you see, notice what you notice, whatever may come to mind. There's no wrong answer, so just take a moment, check it out. And then whoever wants to start.
This is called putting us on the spot.
Yep, sure is. Anything, it can be anything. What do you see, what do you notice? Just the first thing that comes to your mind.
Pirates are out there.
What's that?
Pirates are out there.
What makes you say that?
See what I think is across the
Up there?
It makes me think British, but
Okay, all right. Okay. What more can we find? Oh, so we're giving away.
It'll come back.
Save us.
It'll come back. I'll give us a time.
Oh, okay, great. Do I have to start calling on you?
Waves. Waves.
Waves. Okay, good. So you notice some waves in here, all right. What else? 5 ships. Okay, great. What else?
Kind of dark.
Kind of dark. What makes you say that?
Eerie feel from the factory in the top right.
Over here? Okay. So you're guessing that maybe a factory. What makes you say that?
All the smoke coming off your top.
Okay, so the dark area there and the smoke coming out. Okay, great. What else? What more can we find?
Looks like there might be some people in the water. I don't know.
In here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're noticing some breaks in the water, thinking it might be people or something else? Okay, good. What else?
Looks like a ripped flag on the top.
Over here?
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you say it might be ripped?
It looks bad.
Okay. A little uneven? Okay, great. Anyone else? Okay, so the different tints that you're noticing versus the sky and the water? Okay, great. Awesome. So thank you for sharing your interpretations and using your imagination with us. What you just kind of participated a little bit in is called VTS, or Visual Thinking Strategies. It's a way to look at art without the confines of being right or wrong. A way to kind of open up a rich dialogue, make connections, and further inquiry. This is what gets our students interested, excited, and willing to talk about art. We all use this type of strategy in some form in our own art studios.
And as you can see here, this one was painted by our very own junior at Brighton High School. Her name's Megan Delkamp. And she's actually been commissioned by one of the new restaurants moving into Youngumtree's old space to paint the side of their building as well. And so she's working right now in an independent study with Morgan Gray at the high school. And that offers an opportunity for more advanced or motivated students to take some initiative over their own learning, as well as derive their own concepts or use different things that they've been taught along the way to this point. And she actually plans on pursuing a career in the arts post high school. And then we urge you guys to go down and check this out, because yeah, we can do a picture of it, but nothing does it more justice than actually viewing it itself. And it's right across the hallway from the arts department at the high school. So she is phenomenal, and this is some of what we do, just a little bit of what we do as art teachers. Thank you.
So, what do our learners do? They improve their critical thinking skills by understanding, appreciating, and creating art. From the early grades through 12th grade, students must be given the proper tools to learn about the visual arts. They make connections and understandings of the world around us all. While creating, they learn by experimenting, making mistakes, practicing, and revising through various art mediums and processes. case you haven't had a chance to, I know we got several people in the way, but we've got a wonderful art display featuring artwork from all of our grades. So take a look around if you have checks.
So all of the work that you're seeing today was created using the resources currently available to our students. Increased financial support would allow Brighton art educators to attend professional development experiences to increase our vitality and remain current. For example, going to the Michigan Art Education Association and National Education Association conferences, and also attending professional art experiences. Secondly, the possibility of increasing our technological support within our classrooms, which would allow our learners to make connections between art and the technological advancements. Equipment that would allow increased access to learners would be, for example, digital cameras, color printers, iPads, drawing tablets. This would help expand on individual abilities and interests, along with granting access to learners that wouldn't otherwise have access to these technologies. Lastly, an increase in yearly budget to reflect the 90% consumable inventory usage, such as pencils, paper, clay, glaze, metal. These are all consumables that are used up by the end of the year and must be replaced in order to keep our program viable. Money isn't the complete answer, but resources are necessary to help our learners reach the sky. So in closing, art isn't just about art making. It's about visual thinking, learning to research and make intelligent decisions beyond our classrooms. You have seen what our students are capable of in this presentation. Just think of what our learners will do with your anticipated funding and personal support. Thank you so much.
As with many of our programs, it's the talent level just never ceases to amaze me, and some of what we see here just demonstrates how impressive and talented our students are. So it's great to thank you for sharing, and happy to hear that the programming is working, and we want to support as much as we can in the future.
Is that something we could get us to see the budget, to see how it's used for future?
So thank you to all of you for coming. I do appreciate it, and the presentation was great. I also am going to invite Chris Turner up, who is going to introduce our technology grant recipients. We have 2 of those that will be introduced tonight.
So Liz already touched on it, but we have the final 2 technology innovation grant reports tonight. Janelle Vermiglio from Hawkins Elementary. She will lead us on. Thank you.
So I'm Janelle Vermiglio. I'm the art teacher at Hawkins, and I'm very grateful to have been awarded this technology innovation grant. And I'm super excited to show you how that grant has been put to use. What happened? Oh, there it is. Okay, great. All right, so I just have to touch it. Okay. So, for those of you that don't know, Seesaw is a digital portfolio platform that can be used in a variety of ways in the classroom. The version that I've been using is free and pretty easy to use and navigate. I'd like to start by showing you where the money was spent and how I kind of decided to use this in the art room. So this is my setup, and it took me some time to kind of figure out how I wanted kids to navigate it in the art room. To the right, you can see that I was able to purchase 6 Apple iPads that came with 6 chargers, and I really wanted a docking station that could not only charge the iPads, hold them, but also be out of the way. So I needed it to be wall mountable, which was awesome. Chris was able to help make that happen for me. And it's in my storage closet, so not only does the cabinet lock, but I can also lock it away. And it's also easily accessible for the students as well. This here that you see to the left is my Seesaw station. There's only one QR code listed because I piloted this with 3rd grade just this year to kind of feel it out and get the hang of it. And so over here, they can come over, they can get their iPad, scan the QR code, all their directions are there. And then this little movable table, I started off with one and I realized that I needed more. So thankfully, Anna had some at the media center and I went and grabbed a couple more. So I've got 3 of those now. And so this is kind of our setup of the things that they need for entering. So flexibility. This is, I really wanted students to have flexibility when it came to record their entries. Not only is the art room a very busy place, but there's not a lot of space, you know, to be able to quietly record something. And so these carts allow students to push them out into the hallway. And as you can see here, they can work by themselves. They can partner up. There is a partner at this one at the bottom here, and you can see he's kind of centering it and getting it just the way it needs to be in the frame. The one above, there are 2 kids that are working together. They've got both of their pieces, and they're kind of holding each other accountable to make sure they've recorded all the things they need to, and that they're uploading it properly. And then again, the one to the right, you can see that these kids, they didn't really have a lot of space in the hallway, so they kind of propped it up towards our outdoor classroom. And it really just helps to have a lot of options for that. So going along with that student choice, it was also really important for me that the kids could enter this in a variety of different ways. We're all different learners, different thinkers. Some kids are going to be more comfortable kind of in videoing. Some are going to be more comfortable typing things out. And so we really kind of wanted to, I really wanted to have some choices for them to document their learning. And for some students, this is the first time they've ever done anything like this. And so for our first entry, I encourage them to really think creatively and to really see how the tools in Seesaw work. And so I kind of told them you could take a video, you can type, you can this or that. I was learning too. It's been a learning experience for all of us. So these were our very first entries, which was the Donut Project. And the first one here is all video. But what I love, and I'm going to play it for you guys in a second, is that the girls you hear in this totally did a skit. It was completely unprompted. They just decided to do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so creative. So I'm going to show you guys that one first. And then I'll show you the next one. So let's see if it'll do what I want it to do. So there's a video embedded into this one, but the screen looks different than my screen, so I don't know. Original sound. Thank you for your patience. having some sound difficulty, but it's really cute. They did a skit, and they basically went through the process of how they made it. So instead of just kind of talking about it, they actually showed it. They showed the blank paper, they showed the ruler. It was really interesting, and the one girl was asking the other one, so what did you do next? And it was really a really nice dialogue how it went back and forth. The one to the right of it, again, this one has sound. It's a little different. So the first one was all video. The other option is to take a picture, and then they can just voice record over it, so then it stays standard. And then he put a little heading on there. Apparently he really liked this project, which I love. So unfortunately I can't play this for you guys, so I apologize about that. So we're going to move forward, and this is another choice they have where they can take a picture and then they can type. So there's many options that they can use within the Seesaw program that are very easy for the students to use. And just kind of figuring out what they like and what they're most comfortable with, and when they enter into their learning. So, the portfolio part. This is my favorite part. And one of the main reasons for launching Seesaw in the art room was to create a digital portfolio, to have each student's work all there in one place. As my fellow art teachers know, we end up with a lot of stuff. And then when you're trying to document student growth and looking at where they were and where they've been, it's a lot of actual physical stuff. So it's really nice to be able to pull up a student's name and look through, and you can see a collection of what they've done. Now, we didn't launch this until late February, waiting for the technology, working out my system, kind of problem solving how I wanted to run it in the room. So right now, students in 3rd grade have about 4 or 5 pieces in their portfolio. So this is an example of one student, for example, and 4 of the pieces that we've done kind of recently that you can find in her portfolio with Seesaw. I'd like to show you how it works, but with the sound, I'm not really sure that that's going to work. So when you do open up the platform of Seesaw, all of the students are listed there, and they find their own name. It's become very automatic to when we're working in the art room and they finish a project, they look for an open iPad, they can wheel out the cart, get a partner, and they know exactly what to do. Very few of them even have to refer to the Seesaw wall anymore because it's become so second nature with just what we're doing in the art room, which has been really, really interesting to see. And the other thing, again, there's sound in here, which I really wish I could show you guys, because in the assessment piece, which this is also a great tool for, is that on the first one here, they labeled the parts of the landscape, which is also part of my student learning objectives, is having students show depth and space within their work and using that terminology. And so for them to just kind of put that in there was really interesting. And the other one that I really wanted to play for you guys, she had some people in the hall that were making noise, and she actually goes in and edits it. So just that extra level of thinking and really thinking about what the viewer is going to perceive to really make sure it was just right is pretty awesome to see. And then actually physically pointing to what those things are in the landscape is pretty awesome too. So again, unfortunately, I can't play them for you. I'd be happy to send it for you. And then another part is family connection, which is huge. And so not only showing parents what we're doing in the art room and really having the parents understand the processes that go on in the art room, but also to be able to use it as a communication tool. For example, the top one there is like a blanket message I sent out to all 3rd grade parents saying, hey, I know you guys know we've been doing the Seesaw thing. If you want to learn more about it, we're going to have this board meeting. And then the other ones, parents can comment on the students' art as well. So that's pretty cool that they can say, wow, this is really great. I had no idea you were doing this in art, or I want to frame it and hang it on my wall, whatever it may be. So it's really nice for the kids to get feedback not only from me, but also from their parents as well. And speaking on that, I've received all positive feedback from parents that I've shared Seesaw with. They absolutely love it, and they can't wait until they have more entries that they can check out what their kids are doing. So that is really great to hear. So let's see. So moving forward, I plan on using Seesaw across all grade levels next year. I plan on second, third, and fourth grade using it the same way I've showed you guys here. And then I plan on kind of doing a blanket sort of seesaw thing with kindergarten, well JK, kindergarten and first grade, to where I might record something we're doing in the class or some processes they're doing and then send it out to the parents as a whole instead of having them individually do that. That'll take a little bit of time. The implementation of this moving forward, if my fellow art teachers or any other teachers want to be able to use this in their classroom or art room, I would love to help them because I was super intimidated and felt like it was just one more thing and it was going to be so much, and it has been awesome. I can't believe I haven't been using it sooner. It's been really, really great. And then the assessment piece. I really would like to push students to design their own assessments and set their own criteria along with using the seesaw programming. So, the last part is further support. What I did find, because I originally asked for 6 iPads, I have 6 tables, I thought this is great, 1 for each table, but what I realized is it's taking up a lot of class time because they are partnering up. So ideally, to have 12 would be great. I wouldn't want a class set because it's just too much to manage, and we're already working on projects at the same time. So it's kind of like there's always going to be some kids still working, whether some recording. So doubling up my inventory would be awesome, and that would allow 2 per table versus 1 to make things really rock. And then, of course, for my fellow teachers, to supply them with the same sort of thing, especially at the elementary art level, if we're all kind of supposed to be doing the same thing. It would be great if we could collaborate and work together with Seesaw. So thank you for supporting theirs. Do you have any questions for me?
Just first off, I'm sure it's one of the keys to get it to stars, perhaps.
Yeah.
Fan it out to the rest of us.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get a head around it. So I'm thinking that this is kind of like, I'm familiar with Osmos. It's kind of a tool like that for you that you use only for art, a different program, obviously.
Well, there are a lot of teachers that use it in the classroom too. But for me personally, it's really using it as a digital portfolio platform. And I, found out about it from other teachers and just talking about how they document their learning and really trying to put the students' art when you have over 500 students into one spot. So you can easily, I could be at home and I can click on their name and see what they're doing, approve posts. It just makes everything kind of wrap around and just kind of really seeing where the kids are at in a much quicker way.
I love the communication part, and I misplaced teacher, my little one, we get a photo of what's going on. I really have to try to not know what he's doing at school, so that's a great tool. Thank you.
Thanks.
I just have a question. You said that next year you would like to expand the utilization of the Seesaw in the Art Room from just 3rd grade, 2nd through 4th? Is that right?
Yes, so this year I piloted it just for 3rd grade because I know I'll have those kids next year. Next year, at the start of the year, I plan on implementing it with 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, doing it just how I kind of showed you where the kids are actually doing the videos. And again, I'll send that to you. I really want you guys to see that learning. And then kindergarten and 1st grade, or JK through 1st grade, would be more of their parents would be connected, not so much them actually doing the recording, to where I would send out more of a blanket message to them, showing them the processes and the projects that we're working on.
And so the digital portfolio from this year's 3rd graders will be able to carry forward for them next year's 4th graders?
Yes.
And then you said that from a expansion standpoint from the iPads, you were hoping to go from 6 to 12. Would you still be able to provide the same level of exposure for 2nd through 4th graders as you are with the current 3rd graders if you're expanding it to 3 grades, but you're only going from 6 to 12? I'm trying to get a reconciliation of how that would be applied in a practical manner.
Okay, so just to clarify too, I have 6 iPads right now in my art room. So I have anywhere from 25 to 30 students in my room. Right now, they sit at tables, 4 or 5 students at a table. So ideally, in the beginning, before I was into the process, I thought 1 iPad per table would be great. But what I'm finding is happening, a lot of kids are waiting to enter things, so then there's a lot of waiting. So where if we doubled up, now there's 2 per table, and there's not that waiting game anymore. That's, I guess, what I mean with that. So So I think I would be able to, if anything, go further, having more, and in a more timely fashion, if that makes sense.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Chris, can we pull the audio?
Sit down.
Let me just say before I introduce Vicki, we've got a space card down on the website for the final products, like are being presented during the board meetings. This is yours, right? And then go ahead and forward me the presentation. We'll post it online in our little space, and I'll notify everybody what's there. And next up is Vicki Worthing from Walby Intermediate School.
Hi. I'd like to just begin by saying thank you so much for the opportunity to try things like this. This is just an idea I had. I'd never even touched one of these before. It's a, let me just bring up my presentation. Is a microphone and speaker. So when they're writing, it records what they're saying, and not only does it record what they're saying, but if you like click on it, this is me, this is mine, it's going to be my voice, and you'll barely be able to hear it because it's not going to play here. It's just going to play on this little pen, but you can put it on the computer. But if I click on something I wrote, I might have used the other pen because there's two pens. I'll show you. But it plays, it doesn't just play the whole thing, it will play exactly what they were saying at that point on the pen when they wrote it. So for example, if this is their summary, if I wanted to say, oh, what were they were taking notes on their book club meetings. That was the first thing we did when I first got them. And I didn't give them a lot of direction on what to write or how to write it. You can see different groups did different things. Some groups just listed topics they talked about. But if I say click on, I wanted to hear what were they saying about Mr. Speaker? I could click here, and if you could hear it, it would start just from what they were saying about that character. And because this was the first thing we did, I didn't give them a lot of guidelines on how to do it. Some kids listed, I liked how some groups listed students' names and just put little check marks every time that person talked. But I thought that was cool too, because then I could click and say, what did Sophie say? And I could listen to what Sophie said. There were lots of book clubs going on at a time, and 2 groups, because I only had 2 of them, got to work out in the hall, and they thought that was pretty cool, and it had some of the best conversations because they knew I was going to be listening to them. And then I showed you the desktop software. And then there's also a live scribe player, and this is a free thing, and that's what I would use because I could make pen casts. I'm getting ahead of myself, but this is how I use some things I use in my classroom. I showed you the book clubs. Another thing I would do is if I was teaching something in the class, I would put this under the document camera and take notes on what the kids were saying and what I was saying. We did a Venn diagram, we did a plot diagram, and we would talk about it. And I didn't feel like I had to write down everything everyone said because it's recording, and then I could make a pen cast and attach it to my website. And I was going to show you that, but it seems like it's not going to play. It's not worth it. But you can, on my website calendar, you can go like to March 12th, and it will have. If you click on it, the kids can download a pen cast and listen to the lesson that they missed that day, or if they need to go back and review, they can go back and listen to it again. I used it a lot this year because I only had 2 of them in small group lessons. An example of a small group lesson I did was this when they were learning about plural, making possessive plural and singular nouns possessive. And the part that's in black is the part that I wrote. I kind of made the worksheet out ahead of time and wrote that out. And then the part that is in green is the part where I sat down with a small group and we talked about it together, and we passed the notebook around and they wrote it in, and you could hear the conversation if it played. When I click there, it will skip down and start just there. So if a kid was like, why is that one S apostrophe, they could just listen to that one. What? Oh, you can. And you can skip around if you wanted to go to this one, or just play that one. But no, I'm wanting to pause it because I want you to keep listening. And one other thing we did was we do Greek and Latin roots, and this will be a word wall. The kids made these for me, and I'll use them next year and hang them all up. And if they have, and then the kids in next year's class can come up with the pens, and it says click here for definition. And if they have the pen and they click here, then it would start playing. Oh, the pen wasn't on. If the pen is on and you click here, you won't be able to hear probably, but it will. And then they can listen to the definition, or if they just, what's the definition of spectator? They can click here, and it'll play the definition of spectator. And so this will be a word wall, and kids can come up and use the pen. And because these all have also been digitized, they're all also on that software, and I can put them on my website and make a word wall on the website too, although the one on the website won't have all the colors. This is just black and white, just pen. So that's how I used them next year. This year, things I would like to do with them in the future. I'm thinking when I'm doing conferencing, I've been the reading and writing teacher, and keep conferencing notes with the kids, and then we can go back and, well, what did we say about this last time you and I sat down? I also thought this is really good for kids who have trouble showing what they know. If they have trouble writing or dyslexia or all kinds of things. Things like doing oral book reports where they still make a picture of their book, but then they have little places where you click where they talk about the characters, and then you click here and the pen will play where they had recorded what they thought the main conflict was. Things like think alouds where the kids are, I'm not the math teacher, but I think these would be really good for math, where they have to do a math problem and talk about the math problem and how they did it, and then you could listen to it later. And talking tests where they, instead of having to write all their answers, they click and they record their answers, and then you can go back on their paper and listen to what they've written. And then things like this, I'm not a science teacher either, but diagrams, again, for kids who had trouble, you know, writing all that out, or even if you didn't have trouble writing all that out, they had something like a diagram, and if you click there, it will, you know, say the name or parts of a cell, or all kinds of things like that. The things I'd like to use it for next year. So ideally, I would love to, at some point, get like 6 more. So I have 8 table groups, 1 per table group, and then they could do chalk talks, and I just see a lot of future uses for it. But I would need more than 2. 2 is great for working with small groups and giving it to a few kids at a time. But I'd love to. I can think of lots of ways to use it. So thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session to discuss a matter of containing information exempt under federal law, MCL 15.268H. Of concern is the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act.
Motion by Myers, supported by Stahl. Roll call.
Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Dr. Krebs?
Yes.
Mr. Birchfield?
Yes. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess. We're going to move into closed session, and we'll, those that are involved in the grievance will please remain in the room. Thank you.